This is the Fiido T2. It's the successor to the Fiido T1 and the T1 Pro, and it's a long-tail cargo e-bike. As you can see, it has the extended back on here for load capacity, so you can add a lot of things, including like child seats, to the back of this. Now, the T2 is powered by a 750-watt motor that can take us up to 25 kilometers per hour if it is locked, which my model is. Now, it has those fat wheels. They're from CST. They're called the Big Boat, the model here, and they're quite spongy. They soak up a few of the bumps, and we do have a front shock with 60 millimeters of travel that can be locked out. Now, this bike here does have with it 7 speeds from Shimano, a removable battery that is very large. This is 20.8 amp hours, the capacity, and that gives us a range, their claim is Fiido, of up to 110 kilometers on a single charge. Now, it is a heavy bike, as you can imagine, with this design. 40 kilos, so it does also have upgraded braking capacity on this because it's got 203 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes from Dyson. It does come with a throttle and 5 pedal assist levels, and I'll be walking you through it and let you know everything about the Fiido T2 Longtail in this video. So gears on this bike here, Shimano Tourney, very entry level, 7 speed. It does the job. I really don't have any complaints. Now, we have a stand that is a very strong stand. So that's to hold that 40 kilos of weight of this bike and any additional weight you may have. Now, loading capacity of this bike in total is 200 kilos. That is a lot. Now, you can see we have these plastics here on the side, and that's to stop anything getting in there and getting where the mag wheels are for this, the alloys, so nothing gets stuck in there. And maybe for little children as well, you can have them on the back here with the child seats. You've got no issues with their feet getting stuck in there, which would not be good, of course. Tail light. Now, this is 2-stage tail light, and during the night, you can see it quite well. Our mud guards, these are made out of plastic, and this is good because they will not rust, corrode. It won't be affected by stone chips and whatnot. And they don't seem to make any noise, which is good. The front shock here, I've measured 60 millimeters of travel according to the grease marks and going down curbs and things. Now, you can adjust it here. It's not just a open or completely lockout shock, but you can go in between if you want. And this is very good. If you find that it's too soft, where you can stiffen it up a little bit, and there is adjustable preload on the other side of it too. Brakes on this bike are upgraded compared to other cargo-style e-bikes that Fiido's had, like the T1, the first original model that is. These are 203 millimeters, so they're very large discs, and we have upgraded brake calipers. 4-piston, they're from Dyson. I've seen these before, and they are very good brakes. You see my braking test later on. Due to the weight of the bike, it performs about average. Not spectacularly good, but not poor either. They're very decent brakes, and you can see they've got like a little bit of a heat spreader here on the actual pads, and this is not just for aesthetics. It will actually help cool this down. So they've really done a good job, I think, of factoring in the weight of the bike and just making sure that you can stop safely. Now, no quick release on the front, but this is a good idea to stop anyone from just quickly removing and stealing your front wheel. 20-inch rims, 4-inch wide tires. They are from CST, a known brand, and it is the Big Boat model. Now, my only complaint about this particular tread pattern is that the tread depth, as you can see, isn't really a lot. I wish they had a little bit more tread to them. So if you're going to be riding a lot, you'd have to replace these tires a lot sooner than other models. The front headlight, I have seen this model before, and it is very decent, especially at nighttime. Now you can see that it lights up the path ahead of you, adds to safety and a good distance too. It's a powerful front headlight with a focal lens. Now you double tap the M button to turn this on. Front bike rack is flat, but you'll probably put your own basket or cage on this and then secure and screw that into place. Now it's rated to 10 kilos maximum. Fiido has reinforced the step-through style frame in certain areas. The welds are machine welds that do look very good. It's a matte paint job too, and I like the green color they have gone with. Now, it does use a speed sensor here. I really wish it was a torque sensor. It would make it a little bit more efficient too. It wouldn't just be the motor on or off according to the pedal assist level that you're using. A torque sensor would also give you somewhere in between. The more effort you put in, the more it will give you in return too. And sometimes it can be a little bit slow to start. And I'm talking about like a second sometimes. You start pedaling and it may take a second to kick in and give you that power. And it tends to turn off quickly though, however, which is good. The pedals that Fiido selected do not have any brand to them, so they're not Welgo, but they're an ABS-style plastic. They are very solid, and they're fine. They do the job. Now, the chain, this is from KMC. It's their Z brand of chain, so a well-known branded chain, and this is good. Because the bike is so long, they've had to route the chain, you can see, from here through and down. Otherwise, it will be touching the metal here, and it hasn't slapped up against the metal. It does sometimes move about a little bit when you go down drops and things, but overall, I've had no issues with the chain, and the cassette and derailleur, all good, even though it is just Shimano tourney, as I mentioned. So this battery is locked into place, and the key is needed to turn it on. So it uses like an ignition switch there for our main power on and off. And this is good. This stops anyone from just powering on the bike if you happen to lock it up. You've got the battery locked into place. Charge time is 7 hours of this very large 20.8 amp hour battery. It's 998 watt hours, and that's the plug right there that does have a little cap that goes over it. Now, removing the battery isn't difficult. You just need to unlock it here by pushing in the key. That's now unlocked. The seat, you need to lift it up because it is in the way. However, there's this tiny little lever here, so you push that up, and the seat then, you can raise that up and then simply just slot out our battery. So the battery can be charged within the bike, or you can simply just remove it, charge it indoors if that's easier, because it's a heavy bike. It's not like you can easily lift this up into stairs or even into a lift or something. You really don't want to be moving the bike around. The seat post does have a quick release here, so you can easily raise and lower that. The seat is from Velo, that's a known brand. It's got a lot of padding to it. It's reasonably firm. It's nice and wide. It is a very comfortable seat. The T2 comes with lock grips, and they have a palm support, synthetic style, fake leather, and they do feel good. I've got no complaints with them. These brake levers are from Dyson. They are adjustable. You can see here for the adjustment. And because they're hydraulic, they do feel very good. Now, we do have 5 pedal assist levels, but you can change it to 3 with the app if you want. You can clearly see the battery life, our speed right here, and this is the mode switch there at the top, and then this to change the pedal assist level. So you can see 0 is off. We've got Eco, Normal, Sport, Turbo, Turbo Plus, and finally off again. This is for the horn that's part of that front headlight. It is loud. Very loud, one of the loudest, which is really good. And then our power on and off. And if you tap the mode button twice, that will turn on the front headlight and the rear tail light. Finally, the T2 does come with a bottle holder mount right here, as you can see. Now onto what the T2 is like to ride. So it's a large bike. The first thing you notice about it is its weight. It does weigh 40 kilos, so it's not the lightest out there, and the Longtail design makes it look a little bit different, but it is like a step through the frame, so it's very easy to get on, and it's got a large, comfortable seat. Now, because of the stand, it's not a kickstand, but a stand, it can support a lot of weight on there, which makes sense considering the bike's heavy, and if you do have a lot of boxes or other things on there that do weigh but a bit, then you just need to push it forward, pretty much like a motorcycle, like a scooter, a moped. Now when you start to pedal, it's the speed sensor that it has, so it's just on or off, and it gives you that power, and sometimes that it can be a little bit jerky, but it works all right. And you've got the 5 different pedal assist levels, but with the application you can set it to 3 pedal assist levels if you want. Now the front shock didn't even lift the front up. It handles that fine. That was just the chain slapping about there, and you sometimes hear those plastic inserts too make a little bit of noise on the back there, but they're there for a reason, to stop anything get stuck in the wheels or the chain that you may have loaded on the back of the bike. So as I ride along, riding position is comfortable. It's upright. Now the handlebars, you can bring them up or down a little bit, and because we have these lock grips with the palm rest, they're quite comfortable too. Now you can hear the motor, 750 watts. You hear it a little bit, and it will power me, if locked, which I currently have it locked, to 25 kilometers per hour. Now the front of the bike, it feels a little bit heavy, and the shock, it's not a bad shock at all. It's adjustable, so adjustable preload. You can lock it out completely too if you wanted to. So it is good having that front shock. And of course the 4-inch wide fat wheels, they do soak up a lot of bumps. So something like this, a little bit of rough stuff, you heard a bit of noise then from the front shock, but that was, I think, more the mudguard making that noise, but it does well to soak up any little bumps. And overall, the seat being quite wide and spongy, it is a comfortable ride. Now onto the climb test. So we have a 750 watt motor. Now this is reasonably steep, about 20 degrees, and I am just pedaling now, first gear, and it's handling this with absolute ease. I will now stop pedaling and I'll just use the push down throttle. And this is doing around about 15, 16, 17, 18, gaining speed. So it's an absolute champ at climbing, really is effortless. What I'll do now is I'll make sure, I'm still in the first gear, and I'll turn off pedal assist. That's now on 0. And oh boy, this is hard, even in the lowest gear, because of the weight of this bike, the fat tires and only 20-inch. Wow, you really don't want to be riding this bike up any climbs whatsoever if they are steep, because it's going to give you a serious workout. So put that motor back on, and there we go, speed sensor has detected I'm pedaling. That's an eco, and now in turbo. Oh, that's effortless. It just climbs so well, the Fiido T2. Now the braking performance from 30 kilometers per hour from the white post here, very good. 203 millimeter disc brakes. Ooh. Which are hydraulic from Dyson, 4 piston calipers, and it's just past this post. And the dogs are angry with me. They were not happy about that. So braking performance is average. Understandable a little because it is a heavy bike. So 40 kilos of bike plus my weight. Still, they are very good brakes. I just locked up the rear, which didn't help. Now what about the Shimano gears? 7-speed, shifts are nice and clean, really good, aligned well. I've had no problems with the derailleur out of the box from the factory. It comes aligned perfectly, and those shifts up and down, not a problem. Typical Shimano. Okay, so onto the range. With its 20.8 amp hour battery, Fiido claims that you can get up to 110 kilometers. Now that's eco mode using the first pedal assist level, probably only on the flat with a light rider. What I'm looking at realistically in my tests is around 65 to 70 kilometers. And for the weight of the bike and what it does have here with the power, 750 watts, the peak, I don't think that's too bad considering it's 20-inch wheels, what you can get out of the bike. The overall build quality of the frame, the braking performance is good, although not the best I have seen. It is very good, those brakes. They've got a lot of braking pressure, a lot of bite with those pads. The gears do work well, and if you unlock it, well, you can get it up to speeds of over 40 kilometers per hour, but it will be affecting your range. My range tests have been done with it locked to 25 kilometers per hour. And then, of course, you've got the cargo possibilities with having some boxes up the front. You can put things on the rear of it. So it's a very practical, versatile bike here from Fiido. And I think for the price they sell it for, about 1,500 euros, it's a fair price considering the competition out there with a similar style of bike is going to be a lot more expensive. And it certainly does, I think, cover the bases for a cargo style of bike. If that is what you're after, then the Fiido T2 Longtail Cargo here is definitely worth a look. Thank you so much for watching this review.